Hello everyone, and welcome back to Krelowynn World of Planes. It's good to have you here again. Today I wanted to take a second and do a featurette on one of the most powerful military groups that our universe has to offer. The country of Wyrm's Reach is populated by the Dregun Empire. Now, the Dragons, they are somewhat of a mix between like a Greco-Spartan warrior with all of the refound technology that they have of firearms and gunpowder and motorized vehicles. So, to jump right in, most of you that don't already know me personally can clearly see by the room around me, I'm a musician by trade. So, the feature of this army is named after an old drum machine because I wanted them to lay the beat down on their enemies. So, this is the 808 Infantry of Wyrm's Reach. First, I'll start off, you'll see here one of many of my folders of concept art. Some of these date back too long for me to admit to. But here we'll jump right in. This is a dwarven artillerist for the 808 units. You can see they might have their numbers there on a flag behind them in some of the other concept art you'll see as we continue to share more. This is a Dragon Sniper. And this concept art, like I said, some of these date way back. This is from 2004. And then this one, for those of you that might have played 3rd and 3.5 edition, these charts over here are now irrelevant to the system that we're building, but that is what we call a Dragon Knight. And those guys are pretty prominent too. They're kind of the paladins that hold these units together through a role of leadership. So before I show any more, I want to send a shout out. Some of the things that I'm about to show you, I printed with an Anycubic Photon S resin printer, which has been really neat to learn on. It's my first experiences with 3D printing. That first month is a little bit complicated, so if you get into this, don't expect it to be plug and play, but the work will pay off. The other thing that I want to send a shout out to would be the HeroForge.com site for building miniatures. I was able to nearly make direct replications of some of this concept art thanks to their game engine, and then I can bring them to life at home. And I just can't tell you how much having a physical copy of one of your drawings in a miniature can mean to your momentum as a game master and just a creator in general. To see it coming to life like that can really light the fire to the next step of whatever work you have to do. So this guy right here, we'll start with him. I've already painted this one. You can see he's ready to chuck a little stick of dynamite there. He's got that 808 on his blast shield. As I mentioned, they kind of like that Spartan thing, so they all have the little mohawk. And along with that, here's his buddy. This guy's ready to dig a trench and plant in with his Tommy gun. In our case, that one is called a Tragosh Quick Spitter. And you see that even if they're not sporting their helmet, they still sport the mohawk. Gotta be loyal to your unit. So there's just a couple of those guys. Now, the Dragon Knight that I showed you a moment ago. Here he is. Most of these were painted with combinations of cheap acrylic paints that you can get at any store, and then topped and detailed with Citadel paints. I particularly am fond of those. Nobody around me sells the Vallejo paints, which would be awesome if they did. I mean, it's my last name. I'd love to get in on that. So, you know, that'll be a step that we may take in the future too. But from what I find in my craft groups, the best thing to do is have a blend of all of these different things. You know, you can come up with some amazing combinations on your own if you think intrepidly. So this right here, just a foam plate that I'm going to turn into terrain later. And you can see we've got a whole bunch of these guys that I've printed out here at the house that make up the 808 infantry. Now over here to the side, when you guys can look forward to our game manuals coming out, we actually have almost like a playbook of how these guys would use their shield style and blunderbuss technology to make just a moving wall of shotgun shield death, like phalanx fighters with all the firepower you'd expect out of a Terminator movie. So you see that most of what I do when I print these, I do on a hex pattern. We play on a hex. So that makes it really cool to interlock them and be able to do those shield wall things. It makes it look neat on the board. And that can be really immersive for your players too. They like being able to see this stuff. Some of the other features that you see over here, we have this little piece. I painted that one I found this on Thingiverse under the file for a game called Gaslands. So these guys, with them having machines and vehicles, I like them to be able to stack junk up to defend themselves. And those little pieces were just perfect. So if you're getting into 3D printing, I strongly suggest Thingiverse. You can even tip the artists. So, you know, you can find a lot of this stuff for free, but if you're really vibing off of it, you can help the community and keep those guys in business. So, good stuff there. Lastly, let's look at this guy again. I showed you this old piece from 2004. Another one of our old 3rd edition betas. Here, you can see this one's not yet painted. And you can see how authentic to the original drawing it's possible to get. So really cool stuff. I'm not endorsed, I'm not sponsored, nothing like that. Hero Forge has nothing to do with the making of this video other than that I have found their product awesome and hope to continue to use it. As we go forward, you'll be seeing things like this. That would be the 808 Army protecting one of their siege tanks. And we have places in the game where countries at war directly deal with those things. So as you get to the point of looking at our game manuals, a lot of this will get its cohesion for you. And I think you're really going to enjoy it. But that's all I had for today. I just wanted to take a second and introduce some of my favorite stuff that we have coming up first. And there's a whole lot more too, so that's just the tip of an iceberg. Thanks you guys, enjoy your weekend.